Do you enjoy meaningless banter, casual armchair psychiatry and impractical advice, random unrelated topics with little consistency, a severe lack of radio professionalism? Well, you're in luck. Red and Water are about to unleash a tidal wave of mediocrity upon your unsuspecting ears. Brace yourself for what's to come in this episode of The Redwater Show. Hello there. We are finally back after, what was it, 2 weeks? Is that right?
Shoot. I lost count. Was it 2 months or 2 weeks?
2 months, 2 weeks. You know, no big
Same
difference. Yeah, pretty much. We did not do a show last week because, I don't know, you were tired, I think. I was
tired and traffic was bad coming down to San Fran.
Yeah, you got San Fran. Why were you going to San Fran?
Because I was going to see this faggoty concert with you.
No, that was Friday, not Wednesday.
Never mind. I thought we were going to do one on... Okay.
No, we weren't. No. You were tired or something. I did not prepare anything. Kirran was not available. He's not available this time either. And we're not even doing this live. We're doing this not live on a not Wednesday. And Kirran wasn't available yesterday, and he's not available today because I'm pretty sure he's in class. Which is a shame considering our topic. This is a nice, short, sweet show. It turns out I've started to notice pretty much posting these episodes on my YouTube channel makes us lose subscribers. So I'm trying to keep it on the down low a little bit, like maybe less frequently, so that not all of you leave before we finish our project. So you can see it.
Well. You know what's going to happen is it's going to stay up there for a couple years, and then suddenly it'll get, like, really popular, and everybody's going to be like, oh my god, what is this? And we're just like, okay.
Okay. Wait, what's going to get really popular?
I'm optimistic about this project that we're working on.
I mean, I am too, although I'm pretty sure lots of people are not going to find it enjoyable. But, you know.
Maybe amusing, like, this is kind of ticklish.
This tickles my funny bone. Yes.
Yes. Oh, look, another little Karibo video. I think I'll just go over here now.
Oh yes. It's actually, should we do a status update on that?
Sure.
We actually, that's what we were doing last week, was finishing the script. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
hammering
what we
out
did
those
instead.
Little kinks.
Oh yeah, we went back over it with a fine-toothed comb and
toothbrush.
Sorry about that. I'm going to grab it.
A nice toothbrush.
Be right back. All right, check this out. Yes, that is the sound of a script. I actually went and printed it out.
Oh, aren't you professional?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I'll get a picture of it at some point. Although,
a picture could constitute, just
1,000 words.
Looking up the document on your computer.
But it's nice seeing it like in person. Like you get a kind of a sense of its length, and Actually, I mean, like, I'm planning on actually using the printout when I do my voices, because it's easier than, like, trying to, like, mess with the computer while recording, in my opinion, anyways. Stand this up somewhere. I don't know.
Just like in professional stuff.
Oh, yeah, pretty much, we're, like, professional. But, yeah, I won't tell you how long it is, because that would kind of spoil the surprise. But if you heard it, you might be able to guess. Alright, let me put this back. So yeah, that's going on. We actually already have one set of voices back already as of yesterday, which is quite nice.
Surprised.
Yeah, it only took them the turnaround on that was I don't know, a week.
A day?
No, it was about a week, if I had to guess. And he came back with awesome... I know you haven't heard them yet, but I'm sure you'll agree with me. They're awesome. Like, when I was, like, listening through them, and I was like, this, like, kind of, that was really the moment where I started to believe that this was going to work,
Believe.
Hearing, like, another person who's, like, not in our heads, being able to basically read my mind. He, like, did it... He, like, did the takes... Some of the takes in there are better than what I was imagining, Like, it's hard to explain. But basically, I'm super excited because the first set of lines we got back were awesome. By the way, if anyone out there knows how to get a hold of Immortal, I've been asking, like, everybody, please let me know. You can email us, at redwater.show@gmail.com.
Best segue ever?
Best or bestest segue?
The only kind.
Segues are really best, aren't they?
I love rolling.
I've never ridden one myself. Have you ridden one?
Oh, they're so nice.
Really?
I mean, they're nerdy as hell, but goddamn, they are just absolutely...
Well, of course they're nerdy. I mean,
It uses gyros and gravity and shit.
Pretty much. Alrighty, so I think we can start. And you do not know the topic yet, but you might be able to guess.
Sup, bitches? Chad Warden here. Alright, I'm talking about that.
The Hungry Games. Alright?
Oh.
Now, let me introduce this. I worked very hard to avoid hearing anyone else's review or opinion on this goddamn movie, and you had to ruin it by saying it was shit. Well, that's exaggerating, but you said it was shit. No. Okay.
It had potential to be better. I'll leave it at that.
I did not watch anyone's review. I did not watch Brad's review or any of that Guy with the Glasses people. Apparently MoozE and her cohorts, not that I care, because I don't care about MoozE, but apparently they didn't like it. Apparently,
I didn't hear anybody else's opinion either.
Apparently Spoony, he didn't do a review, but I saw him on Twitter and he was like, ha ha ha, Battle Royale, derp derp derp. Because I'm fucking sick of hearing people say Battle Royale, okay? I don't care, alright? I don't care if it was... like, the book was ripping off some obscure Japanese movie, alright? Don't give a shit. Besides, it was like... Alright, do you want to do this first? Like, do you want to address, like, the whole stealing, ripping off thing first? Because...
well, I don't think it's stealing. It's really just utilizing a trope. That's what you kind of do.
It's like... It's honestly, like, people kind of said this when Avatar came out, and honestly I think it's much more obvious in the case of Avatar, just because, I think it's way more common what Avatar did than what this movie did, alright? Like, This is like, when you're trying to come up with comparisons, there's, like, Running Man, this Battle Royale thing, and then a bunch of other obscure shit that I've never heard of. Like, basically, if you go on the Wikipedia page and see people making comparisons, they're like... And some people are making absurd comparisons like Twilight, so they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay?
Nothing
like Twilight. And apparently my girlfriend says the books are even less like Twilight than this would be, which is not very. Apparently the books, especially after this one, they get like super depressing and shit. And there you go. But
make you want to slit your wrists.
Slit my wrists. I mean...
Listen to Bloody 2.
If we want to go back, you could say, Battle Royale or whatever was ripping off, like, Lord of the Flies, alright? Kids killing kids is not a...
This movie's definitely more Lord of the Flies than...
Yeah, Lord of the Flies was Hungry Games. You know what I'm saying?
In that they were actually fighting for food.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
But this one
So,
never really had, like, they're not fighting for food. They're fighting, to kill each other.
yeah. So, okay. It just happens to every once in a while that some movie will come out or whatever, and people will say, "Oh, it's totally unoriginal," and blah de blah.
It's
All right.
Totally. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Think of a movie that is completely original.
Nope. Nope.
Nope. All right. Nope. Let's it doesn't have to be good or bad to be unoriginal. It doesn't have to be original to be good. All that kind of stuff. It's just
as long as it plays a formula very nicely.
Yeah. And I'm not even going to say this is like a formula yet. This is not even like a very common story, in my opinion. Like, you don't see this kind of movie like every summer like you do, fucking
like the Baby Daddy
random ass action movie, like there's like a Die Hard-ish or like Bourne-ish or what's the other one? Like Mission Impossible-ish movie, multiple of those every summer. And nobody like whines about that because they're like used to it.
Romantic comedies and
romantic comedies.
There's
That's
always the
pretty ripe
awkward
for,
teen movie.
Or like schlubby dude gets hot girl movie.
Always that.
So
they're even rebooting American Pie. I mean, come on.
Yeah, oh boy. So, all right. So, just my conclusion on it's ripping off things. Yes, I don't care. All right. Now, let's get on to other aspects. All right. So let's see. I avoided pretty much everybody's opinion. Didn't watch Nostalgia Chick and them's opinion. Didn't watch anybody's. Then you had to go and ruin it for me by saying you didn't like it or whatever, or that you thought it could have been way better.
It could have been way better in terms of screenplay and writing.
All right. So I'm gonna
Go ahead. I'll reserve.
What did you say about casting?
Oh, casting was good. I liked the acting.
Okay.
And I loved who they chose and the costume design was really nice.
Yes. Very fabulous costumes in there.
Fabulous.
Oh, yes. All right. I'm going to say, flat out, I really like this movie. I think it is a great movie. Okay? The only thing that really, actually bothered me to the point where I was not enjoying myself was the camera.
God damn.
In the beginning. Only the beginning. Only, the first 20 minutes. And that's because it didn't make any sense. Alright? Because I don't care too much about shaky cam in action scenes. Because, let's just face it, it's expected.
It's a cheap way to
point,
avoid violence.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it was plenty violent for what the story was. You do see blood, okay? It's not completely sanitized. So,
and it's crazy too because during some action scenes where they use uber shaky cam, and you can see plenty of blood, they don't linger on it at all. It's just like, oh, okay, we're done.
Yeah, and it makes sense. That first, the bloodiest scene was probably that first scene, right, where they all run towards the cornucopia, and it's camera's freaking out, and people are just blood spraying everywhere and shit. But and you could say, oh well, you don't get to see their disembodied corpses and stuff. But that's not the point. Katniss was not exactly lingering there. She was just running around.
She's just get in, get out, go.
Yeah. So it's kind of her perspective, and I think it was fine. But the beginning, they just went way overboard. I know. Supposedly, my girlfriend said it was oh, they're all paranoid and stuff, and everybody's scared shitless of something. And I can buy that, but I could buy that, but we never see why they're freaking out and scared shitless.
Yeah, there's no impending
to this
doom.
day,
there's
I don't
nothing...
know. Like, why is everybody so scared? Like, I kind of picked up, like, there's some lines that suggest that maybe, like, if you... I don't even know, like, what are they doing to these people that makes them so scared? Besides having, like, terrible jobs, you know? Like, going into the coal mine.
Yeah, it's like an outlier district. I mean, it's a coal mining town. Sure, coal mining is pretty dangerous, but it's not like, some monster is lurking around in the woods about to devour them or something.
Yeah, and they don't establish
this is an
that,
annual
like...
event.
Yeah, and they don't establish that, like, people are getting, like, taken or whatever, or, like, if you do...
Yeah,
like, nobody seems to do X and Y happens to them as a result. You don't ever see that or even really hear about it.
It's just a bunch of depressed people walking around eating shitty food.
Yeah. So you get kind of a sense that these people are, like, starving-ish, I guess. They don't really play up the hunger aspect of the hunger.
Not at all. Not really, because...
Not really. Like, I didn't really get the sense that these people were, like, destitute or... Like, yeah, you see, like, the flashback of the dude throwing the bread and, like, everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna hunt this game and get some money and buy some food. It just didn't feel very desperate. Which meant that I couldn't buy the camera. And
one thing that...
What?
One thing that really irked me in the beginning right there was that she was hunting that deer. And then suddenly her boyfriend's like, oh, hi! And it's just like, that's the first deer I've seen in 7 months. And and he's just like, oh, okay. And it's just like, are these people starving? Would he not understand? Oh, he looks like Ken. He looks like a Ken Barbie doll. Never mind, he's obviously getting good nutrition, so he doesn't care.
Yeah. Oh, I would like to segue into costuming, makeup, etc., but I kind of want to finish this tangent. Also, the camera was not consistent in the beginning. It went between ridiculously shaky action shots and, like, smooth panning dolly shots. Like,
which would have been preferable.
Yeah, I would have liked that. Or if they were going to do that, like, switch between them all the time, don't make the shaky ones so ludicrous. Like, make them very subtle, like, documentary-ish shakiness. Not, like, war documentary shaky. I mean, like, just, like, interview, like, man-on-the-street interview documentary shaky. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eye level. You can see people walking down the streets a little bit. Just pan on one side, pan on the other with a little bit of shakiness, and that'd be a shot.
Okay.
You could do that if you wanted to go shaky.
Yeah, but after they kind of, like, pick the people and, like, the plot starts moving and, Katniss starts to get, like, freaked out, then everything after that point I was fine with in terms of cinematography and camera work.
Yes.
And the cinematography, like, in general, is very nice, of course. I mean, it's a big budget, Hollywood movie. Of course the cinematography's nice, I'm pretty sure it was shot on film, although I could be wrong. I did see a lot of film grain. It might have been added afterwards. I don't know. But it definitely looked the part. Like, the battle arena was gritty, the city was, like, slick, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. The contrast between, the districts was pretty clear.
Yeah. So, costuming, makeup, casting. And I know we're going just, like, down the line of things, like, let's chop this into bits and say, like, what is blah, 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 blah.
Organization.
But I think it's, because these are things I actually noticed, which is more than I can say for most movies. Like, most movies, I watch it and I forget about it. This movie, I can still, like, remember things about it, And I think that means it's good. Maybe that's just
Because it was so original in principle. See, that's why in the beginning I said I hated it, but I hated the way they executed it in certain spots. Like, there were some pretty glaring, dirty spots every once in a while in the writing that I just wish I had a pencil and paper there in the theater to write this shit down.
Well, what are you talking about in regards to writing? Because I had no problem with the writing, except for something I'll get to later. But what do you mean by that?
I'm sure we'll probably agree on whatever you have there, but like just some of the way the lines were written, some of the situations, like in the beginning, for the deer incident, or just I That's why I said I wish I had a pencil and paper during that time, so I could have written down like, okay, this is where it is, this is where it is. Some
All right.
examples.
Now that you mention it, I did not remember that deer scene, and when you bring that up, it does really smack of bad writing. But for some reason I forgot it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just a lazy viewer, but
that and
it didn't bother me that much at the time.
Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled to go see this film anyway. But I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. But because of the camera angle,
I wasn't interested in it particularly.
It gave me a bad first impression, and that kind of set my mood throughout the rest of the film to start nitpicking. Because the shaky cam, it almost made me ill just watching it. I was like, oh god damn it, why are they doing this?
I was kind of fortunate in that we were in a packed theater. This is second weekend. By the way, this movie is doing really well, if you weren't aware. Like,
oh yeah,
really
it's doing really well. And I was in a packed theater too.
And I was in the very, very last row. So the effects of the camera weren't nearly as bad on me as if I was like, in the front,
I was below the middle basically, so.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would make a significant difference. Like, my girlfriend was really annoyed that we were in the back, but I knew, like, I'd heard tales of the camera, so I was not in too big of a fuss about being in the very back. So, like, yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, if you're, like, one of those 3 people who haven't seen it yet, consider moving a little further back than you normally would if you don't like sitting in the back. So, costuming and makeup, etc. Casting. Now that you mention it, third dude, or, I don't know, first dude of the love triangle, whatever you want to call it. It's not even really a love triangle in air quotes because they never even.
There's nothing we really established that these two really like each other anyway.
Yeah. We're
just told that they like each other.
There's just kind of like vague sexual tension between them in like one scene, and that's about it. I must admit, he did look not quite as. He looked a little too like shiny for District 12. Mm-hmm. He was a little too bright faced and like
clean.
Clean. Yeah. I heard people whining about the main actress being too like full-bodied or whatever, or being like too chubby or whatever for like a starving person, and I honestly don't see that. Honestly, if you look at pictures of her like just like normally, like with the blonde hair and stuff, and a still from her from the movie, she looks completely different. Like, I did not even recognize her. Like, she looks like a 16-year-old girl in the movie. Like, for realsies, it's not like,
Yeah, she looks typical. And that's also actually what I kind of like about Peter, because Peter's hot, but he's normal.
Which one was
hot.
Peter? Is he like the strong dude? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the strong guy.
Okay.
Peter was hot.
Yeah, he was pretty studly. I did want to say, though, this is another thing I noticed, was the makeup was actually, let's see if you get what I'm talking about here. When they were out in District 12, and I'm mostly focusing on Katniss because I think she's like the most interesting person in the movie and like the protagonist, all of that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
she has... yeah. She has, like, a real person face out in District 12. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, she has, like, moles and, like pores and marks and stuff. Like, stuff that they usually don't show you in a movie. And then she goes to the city, they, like, dress her up, and she turns into, like, they change the makeup to be more like, actress makeup.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the battle, and it's back to a normal person makeup. And I'm like, normally movies don't do that. They're just like, everybody looks perfect all the time. So I was like really impressed with that they actually bothered to, make the distinction between like when she's like living and when she's like doing ceremonial crap, that really impressed me for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just because it's pretty rare.
It's
my opinion.
atypical in this day and age.
Yeah.
Which, why is that atypical?
I don't know. Apparently, Hollywood thinks people don't like seeing real-looking people on TV or on
That's
the big
probably
screen.
the appeal of Hunger Games, at least on a subliminal level, is that these look like actual human beings, and in some cases they do act like actual human beings. And
Yeah.
unless the writing dips here and there, and I was like, okay, but
Yeah,
but
okay.
I could tell when it was doing this hump thing. It was like a roller coaster. Like, oh my god, I can get into this, and then suddenly one line will pull me right out, and then I'll be just like, god damn it.
All right. Yeah, casting was great, in my opinion. I had no problems with the casting for pretty much anybody. So let's get on to the meat of it, the writing, right? Okay. I will say, I really enjoyed this movie. It was predictable as all hell. Okay? I knew everything that was going to happen. Like, you get to a scene like, I know what's going to happen here. I know what's going to happen here. I know how it's going to end. I know, like, it's really, really easy to tell what's going to happen. And I think that's partially the fact.
My ass.
Yeah, like, the love thing, I don't know really know what to think about that, because I heard it was more pronounced in the book, but I'm not sure what happened exactly in the book that was different. But we can get to that. But I was gonna say, like, you pretty much knew what was gonna happen, throughout the thing. Like, obviously, she's gonna be picked for the Hunger Games, but that's kind of,
That's a given.
a given, considering,
However, they did
like,
violate my
you see-
expectation in the
you
beginning
see-
when I thought
what-
they were going to pick Kendall.
I thought they might, but then, I guess it really depends how much you know going into it. But, okay, so, like, you see Woody Harrelson, and you're like, I know his character,
Yep.
Like, he, like, comes in, what does he do? He gets a drink. Yeah, big surprise there, right? He offers some, like, sagely kind of,
Derp
fatalist advice, like, you're probably gonna die. Like, oh, gee, thanks, dude.
No, you are going to die.
Yeah. You see, like, fabulous black, like, designer dude, and he's like, oh, he's gonna whip out something crazy for this stupid ceremony. And of course he does,
Yeah.
And then, like, it's like, oh, and then, like, the assessment scene. She's gonna shoot the apple. She's gonna shoot the apple. She's gonna shoot the apple.
Yep.
Like, that first shot of, like, them, like sitting around being snobby douchebags, and you see they have the camera linger on the pig with the apple for, like, a second. And, like, she's gonna shoot the apple.
Yep. We all
And
know
it was
this.
it was so satisfying when she shot the apple. It was like, I know I should be annoyed that I'm, like, guessing everything that's gonna happen, but it's just so enjoyable to watch, So, that kind of thing. All right. Now things, I guess you could call that a negative, depending on how much you like to be surprised in a movie. Fight Club, this is not, basically. So, now, the things about the writing, I can't pick out precise examples because I'm not really good at remembering those little lines that you might have remembered. But there was many points, not so much in the dialogue, but in, like, the story, and I was trying to come up with a word for this, because I've seen it before, because I have not really... Huh?
Like a misstep? Or a slip?
Not really that, but here's what it is. Okay, so I have not really read that many books in the past, like, 3 or 4 years. Since I've gone to college, I mostly just read books for school. And before that, when I was in, like, high school and middle school, I mostly read young adult books. A little bit of, like, science fiction-y stuff that interested me. But for most of my life, I've been reading like young adult books. And this movie is full of, I guess you would call them young adult novelisms. Like young adult tropes. Yeah. I can't even like really place my finger on certain moments or what I'm talking about. But there are many points in this movie where you can tell this is from a young adult novel. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain things that are common in young adult novels, like across the board. And this movie has a lot of them. I don't know
like a
if you can...
romance. Sorry.
Yeah, sort of. But also, like, very... I was spent a long time trying to figure out exactly what I was of like an example for what I'm talking about.
There's a big focus not on the universe itself, but on the characters, on what she thinks, on what he thinks. And
yeah, you could say that's more of a stylistic choice, but I do agree that's definitely more common in young adult novels than in like regular novels that kind of also focus on like the world and the setting and
it's very omniscient around Katniss, basically.
Yeah,
but even though she's the protagonist, we dip into her. I mean, not directly, but it's almost walking the line in some cases on how much we know what she's thinking.
It's like, I know this is going to sound bad, but it's kind of like the world behaves like Katniss is kind of a Sue character. She's not a Mary Sue. Let me get that right out here. She's not a Mary Sue. No. But the world does seem to kind of be like revolving around her. You know, things happen to her that are like very fortuitous. You know, like just the amount of luck that gets like dropped in her lap in this movie is astounding. You know, like all these astoundingly fortunate things happen to her. Her just are kind of like random chance. That kind of thing. Yeah, obviously she's like a great, you know, like
archer,
like
and
archer and survivalist, that kind of thing. But like she's like, oh yeah, I'm not really good with people and blah de blah. And then like, you know,
just be yourself.
Like fabulous black dude comes, swoops in, gives her an awesome outfit. You know, Peter or whatever comes in, swoops in, brings in like the fake romantic subplot that saves her ass. You know. She gets a lot of help, basically. Like Woody Harrelson is like the most awesome dude ever, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, event organizers decide to take pity on her, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and it's just even the very end is all about, you know, her and the romance, and that's why I change it up.
Do you want to talk about the romance? Because honestly, I think the romance is like throughout the entire thing, and they make this, I think, pretty obvious at the end, that the romance is not really romance. Like, straight up. Like, there's it's kind of like, this is all like one big kind of parable for reality television, right? That's one of the things that's been said about this.
Like, you gotta force to love each other, so because people eat that kind of crap.
I think they were both really playing the game. They were playing to the audience. They were, like, hamming it up in that cave. Like, yes, I think the dude might have some actual feelings for her, but I'm pretty sure he was definitely, like, exaggerating a whole lot at that part. And also he was kind of deliriously injured, you know. So, I think they knew, like, there are cameras on us. If we want to survive, we have to put on a good show. Okay? You know, I think, honestly, that was most of the romance was just that. It was just, like, a fake romance for the cameras. So, in that way...
But there's a tinge of sincerity in there. Like, just a little tinge. Like, you know, if they wanted to continue this relationship outward,
So supposedly, my girlfriend said like, Katniss really not interested in either dude, like, ever.
Oh,
as far as
either
I'm aware. Yeah, like, she's just not, like, in some respects, but nowhere near to like polar opposite of like Twilight. You know, Twilight. You know, Bella is incredibly unsubtle and like codependent. Katniss is like very, very, very independent, and
She's a strong
very,
District 12
like,
woman, and she don't need no man.
she don't need no man, and if she does have feelings, she's not gonna let him poke through, unless she's on like camera trying to survive in this movie. Okay, you know. So, yeah, it's. I think it's just like the setup is very stereotypical, like two dudes, one chick, blah 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 blah, get in dangerous situations. One does this, one does this. We have reaction shots of like Fabulous Ken doll dude being kind of annoyed as he's watching. You know, like if they had removed all those reaction shots of that dude, there would like the whole triangle thing would not exist, pretty much.
It was kind of a weak triangle to begin with. I thought it would have just been better, like you said, if they just
cut him out. I think it would have been even more effective because you'd be more focused on the fact that it's like a fake romance.
Yeah,
you know, it would like having him be in there being annoyed just kind of like puts a damper on the message. You know, like trying to lend legitimacy to this triangle. Which is not really
and that's what was kind of, you know, confusing me. I was like, is this legitimate? Like, because I was trying to poke through whether or not the writing was trying to feel this way, and I was like, no, they're doing a bad job of it. So
yeah, there were some points. Yeah, there were some points where it was hard to tell whether they were trying to make a commentary or be like a satire or something, or when they were being straight faced.
Yeah, I couldn't tell in some cases, and those little dips in writing are what I'm talking about. It's just like, you know, do you want me to feel this way or this way, movie? Make up your mind.
I think that might be a good example of what I'm talking about, like young adult novelism. Like, young adult novels kind of have to be mostly unsubtle. Like, they have to kind of have everything be on the surface. Because at that reading level, it's hard to pick up on subtext, you know? Like,
which is why I think this movie could have been so much better. If it wasn't so focused on, you know, the young adult trope right there. Because it could have been like, all right, deep.
Yeah, it could have... Okay, I will agree with you. It could have been a lot deeper than it was. But that did not hinder my enjoyment of it. Like, it could have been, like, an Oscar-worthy movie. Yeah, like an Oscar-worthy, like, snobby, like, social critique movie. But...
Because I loves me my dystopias.
It wasn't really trying to do that, I don't think, as much as others would be. So... And it was certainly, like... Did you see In Time? I can't remember if you did have...
I haven't seen In Time.
Yeah, that was, like, really, really ham-fisted capitalism, 99%ers, blah, 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 okay? And while I enjoyed that movie, it got to be a little much at times. Like, the whole, like, really, really overt, you know, like, time is money, capitalism, 99%, blah, blah, blah. Whereas this movie really downplayed that kind of social commentary. You know?
Yeah, it was just like, these are bad guys. They run the show. Let's play.
I mean, yeah, it's obvious that it's like a satire of reality television, but it's not like they're not like punching you in the face with it all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just like touch, you know, just a little bit of a ding here, a little bit of a ding here.
So, you know, you guys start watching Jersey Shore and all that stuff, you know? So... we're at like 40 minutes and I'm almost out of material. What do you think? Did you have any other...
I could really keep going on. Like, I know some people were like, you know, I think I almost hate President Snow more than Dolores Umbridge. And I'm just like, you joke,
I was
right?
going to say, they look Or wait, President Snow. Which one was President Snow?
He was the base. He was the big guy. He was Santa Claus. He looked like Santa Claus to me.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say that lady who was like representing District 12 reminded me so much of Umbridge. Like,
yeah.
My girlfriend did not see the connection, but I honestly thought she like had the same style of dress, kind of. Obviously, it's a different like.
She had the same
color
kind of
palettes
mannerism
and
and style.
same mannerisms and like voice and that kind of like insane happiness type thing.
But I think it's good. That was good because that was her character. She had like that's what she was. Like she was supposed to be, the frilly representative who was supposed to.
Yeah, I'm not knocking like the character. I just think it's very amusing. I just think it was a very amusing parallel. I'm not saying like, oh, they're ripping off Harry Potter.
Oh no, nothing like that. I'm just really confused as to why people would compare Umbridge to any character in this, because Umbridge was just a bitch to be a bitch. Like not even context, like would have done it. She was just bad person overall.
Umbridge. I don't want to get too off topic, but
there wasn't too much of a good reason for her to be evil. But unlike these people kind of had good reasons to act like they did.
Yeah, like there were reasons for everything, which I think was a good thing. Like,
yes,
you might not know all the reasons.
For no reason.
You might not know all of the reasons for everything, but it's very obvious that everyone has like motivations, which I think is one of its strengths. So,
yes, I would see that.
Obligatory. It's pretty awesome to have a female character that isn't stuck with a man in a Hollywood movie. That's pretty great. I think we can all agree that's a good thing, and we need to see more of it. Well, I don't think we can all agree. I'm sure there's plenty of assholes out there who don't agree. There's that whole race thing, which is pretty, not really amusing, but
it was just sad. I was just like,
I was kind of depressed. Like, I just felt sad for like people with bad reading comprehension and, like misplaced white supremacy issues. I don't know. I think it was the black characters were not bad guys or comic relief, and they were kind of annoyed with that. I don't know.
They were humans. God damn it!
Yeah.
They were. I was like, oh my god, this is excellent. This is a human. Good.
It's like, yeah, human. I don't know, but yeah, I there's not really much to say on that. Like, those people were wrong. Like, you can't even say like they were subjectively. It's like, oh, it's just like their opinion, man, that they should have been white. No, they were wrong. It was in the book.
It was in the book. And I didn't even read the book. Like, people were citing passages.
I didn't read it either, like, but people just showed the passages where it's like dark-skinned.
There
you go. That's the end of the argument,
You're done.
Maybe say like, well, they should have changed it to white. And like, well,
why?
You should stop being an asshole. I don't know. Like,
your racism is shining through in this day and age. That's kind of looked down on there.
I mean, well, I'm not going to go into that too much because people are more racist than they think they are. But
we're like whirring the can opener on this can of worms here. Like it's going around.
It's like electric. It's not even like I'm cranking it. It's just spinning out of control.
Just this. We better take this off before it actually pops open and the cats come running.
All right, so I'm trying to think of any last thoughts. If you haven't seen it, see it. That's all I have to say. It's definitely worth money. You might see it if you enjoyed young adult novels and movies based on young adult novels. I think that's about it. Yeah. It's not a perfect movie by any means. And, yeah.
If you're a complete snob who's like, yes, Clockwork Orange was good in the book in its own right, and the movie also played its own very well. Stanley Kubrick has plenty of symbolism and parallels to our dystopian mindset, and blah blah. And Anthony Burgess, of course, also draws his own teenage primal instincts and blah. Speaking of which, when the kids were tromping through the forest, I was just in my head thinking, "Come on, my little droogies, let's go find some more whippersnappers to kill." I was just like, "Yeah," but that was in my own head. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Let's head over to the Korova Milk Bar when we're done. Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, lots of parallels to draw, but whatever. I think we've about played out this topic. We spent a whole, 40 minutes on that sucker.
Oh, boy.
And I think that's sign of a good movie. Well, not necessarily, because, Spoonie talked for, 2 hours on Transformers 2, but, you know. You can definitely talk at length about bad movies, for sure, but...
Mm-hmm. This was both a good and a bad movie. I think I talked my girlfriend's ear off about this movie, because she said before I even got into it, I'm like, "Are you going to see this movie?" And she's like, "Probably not." But then when I was done giving her half the spoilers in the movie, she wants to go see it now, and I'm like, "God damn it!"
Yeah, it's almost motivating me to read the books, but I'm not sure if I will or not.
Almost.
Same with Dragon Tattoo. I wanted to read the books after seeing that, and then I kind of was like, I don't. I'm just not a big reader anymore. Sad to say. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do a music break. How about that? And then we can wrap up with some My Immortal. Sound good?
All right. Yep.
All right. So this is, This is Dead Can Dance. If you haven't heard of Dead Can Dance, well, that's your problem, not mine. And
well, we're all not metalheads like you.
It's not metal. It's not metal, and yet it's awesome, which should tell you a lot coming from me. Because, honestly, this song. Most of the songs I'll play on the show, I like them all right, but they're not stuff I would normally listen to all the time. They're just I use them because they're free. And I like them all right. But this is great stuff, okay? If you don't like Dead Can Dance, then there's something wrong with you. Okay. This is Rakim. It comes from their Live Happenings free live album. It's something like 16 tracks, and you can get them by putting in your email, and it sends you the download link. It's great stuff. You should go get it. And we'll see you in 5 minutes-ish, something like that. So
just relax to the soothing tones of Dead Can Dance.
Yes. Enjoy, or else.
Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. Good night, everyone. Cheers.
You back yet? I know you were gonna.
Huh? What? I was just enjoying it.
Are you just saying that because I said you'd better?
Oh, well, no, actually, well, I had to get up and go to get some stuff done, like this.
Oh yeah, you probably missed a big chunk of it. What'd you do? What do you make? Oh, is it noise making time on the Redwater show? I love that part.
Here
we go. Here we go.
Noise making time.
Here's my awesome new butane insert for my lighter. Oh yeah.
Oh, you got butane.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got a sandwich right here.
And here's a tape measure that I've been using on my film projects. Yeah.
And this is Batman.
Batman. Oh, okay. Cool.
It's a metal thing of Batman. Okay.
Well, we are
So, what are we
actually nearly to the end of the show, so we better just do our work on My Immortal. Only a few chapters left, and then you'll be rid of it for forever. God damn, we've been doing this show a long time to have gotten through this many chapters. Alrighty. I will go ahead and start with the office note, unless you want to do the next chapter.
Doesn't matter to me, man. You go ahead and
All
start
right.
us off with the
To
authors.
everyone who keeps flaming dis get es liff. I bet you probably oughtn't know who Gerard Way is. You're probably all preps and pausers. No way someone hacked into me account in November and they put up my last chapter, but now there is a new one. I'm sorry for not updating G for a while, but I've been really busy. I'm trying to finish the story before the new movie comes out. I'm going on vacation for a month. I did not pre-read this.
Oh my. Are you okay?
I'm sorry. I don't know why that was so funny to me, but
You're gonna be okay, my son.
vacation for a month.
And then
Is she visiting her girlfriend?
what? That's gay. She hates gay people, but bi guys are sexy. Remember that?
Okay. I won't be back until about 2 weeks. OMFG Draco is so hot. In all the pics for the new movie, I wanted them to put a cameo by Gerard Way, lol, he Hasud played Draco. If you flame, I'll slit my wrists. Raven, you rock, girl. Have fun in England.
England.
Yes.
And so, when I woke up, I was in a strange room. I looked around. I was wearing the same outfit I had when is performed with Black X Tier X11. I looked around confusedly. It was the Norse's office, but it looked different. On the wall was a pic of Marilyn Munson. Yes. Marilyn Munson. Parentheses. Oh, just imagine that he is an 80s Gothic band, too, because he's more old than Panic at the Disco or MCR. There was also a Gothic Black Beatles calendar with a picture of the Beatles wearing eyeliner and black clothes. On it said 1980. OMFG, I'm back in Tim again, I screamed loudly. Suddenly Satan... This is actually
Voldemort for photo reference.
Voldemort was wearing a black leather jacket, black tight jeans, and fishnet pants. What? He looked so sexy, I almost had an orgy. Oh. OMFG, enemy. Are you okay? He asked gothically. Yeah, I'm okay for your information, I snapped sexily. OMFG, am I deaded? Because I remembered I had jumped in front of the bullet from Jamie's gun. I also remembered seeing Draco doing it with Snap. I guessed that when I had slit my wrists, I had went back and Tim instead of dying. I knew I could go forward in time if I found a time toner or the time machine. No, you're not dead, Satan reassured suicidally as he smoked a cigarette sexily and smoke came all over his face. You're a vampire, so you can't die from a bullet. Come on now, let's go see how Harry's dad is doing. I know that the real reason I didn't die from the bullet was because I was from the future. WTF, James almost shot Lucius, I said in Dogdoli. In Dagoli. I knew that James had been possessed, but I didn't want him to know I knew. Yeah, I know, but he had a headache because he was under a lot of stress, Satan reasoned evilly. I guess that's okay, I said, because James hadn't really shot Lucian. Also, I knew that Lucian would have 2 arms instead of 1. I walked seductively outside with Satan. Suddenly, I saw a totally sexy Bothic black guy. He had bleached blonde hair with black streaks up to his ears, and he was wearing Gothic black eyeliner, a black Green Day shirt. It showed Billy Joel.
It showed Billy Joel with blonde hair since it was the 80s.
Yeah, black Congress shoes and black baggy pants. He walked in all sexily, like Gerd Way. In the vidya for Don't You Like I Did Yesterday, you could see black tear on his face like the women in that video. Hey, he said quietly and gothically. Who the fuck is that? I asked angrily, because I did not know him. This is Hedwig, said Volksamort. He used to be an ex-Black Tier X2, but he had to drop out because he broke his arm. Hey, Hedwig, I said seductively, even though I was not trying to be. Lol, hi, Ennaby, he answered. But then he ran away, because he had hair of magical creature. Lol, hi, Ennaby, he answered. But then he ran away, because he had hair of magical creature.
That's the first time we stopped in our tracks at something.
I had to do a double take there. He was humming welcome to the Black Parade under his breath.
I know Dad is not 80s, but pretend it is, okay?
Bye, I said all sexily. Dad was Hedwig. He used to be my boyfriend, but we broke up, Satan said sadly, lucking at his black nails. OMFG, can I get you two back together? I said, fingering something I didn't know was in my pocket. A black coot is what we aim for. Cydio iPod that we could take videos with.
Does anyone else know about them? They kick ass.
Okay, you can forget about your class for now, Hedwig. I'm going to show you something great. I led them to the Great Hall. They did show him something great. Come on, you guys. Lucian, James, Sirius, and Snake were all in the Great Hall. Lucian wouldn't talk with James because he had to try to shoot him. Go fuck yourself, you fucking douche, he shouted at them. Draco's never going to be friends with Vampire now. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Samara. What is this? Snape agreed, but I knew he was lying, because it was his fault James had almost shot Lucian. Be quiet, you guys, I said sexily. My plan was working out great. Now I could make Voldemort good without doing it with him. Now Vampire's dad would never die, and okay, Satan and Hedwig, you guys can start making out, I said, and started to film with the iPod. What? Cool, said Sirius as Voldemort and Hedwig started to make out sexily. We watched as Today started to take each other's clothes off sexily. Samaro, Sirius, Snake, and Lucian all watched because they were probably bi. I knew Snape was bi. Oh my fucking god, Voldemort! Voldemort! Screamed Hedwig as his Glock touched Voldemort's. But then suddenly stopped as the door opened and in came Dumbledore and Mr. Norris. Dun, dun,
you know,
dun.
honestly, I think we might have read this one before, but I can't tell because all the chapters are the same.
I don't understand.
Do you think we read this one before? I can't even remember. Like,
I can't tell because
a lot of the times they sound familiar, but then you realize no, she's actually just plagiarizing herself from like 3 chapters ago. You know, it's like really hard to tell. Oh my god. Well, we actually are now over time. I'm not going to do another chapter. Oh man.
Yeah, this is just too much.
I will do the. At least we're not doing it. Oh dear. I think I broke the show. Okay. So, this is the Redwater Show, and I am your host, Water. Did we ever even do that? Am I Water? Are you Red? Did we say that? Can't even remember.
I'm feeling pretty red right now. Whew.
All right. Whew. Our email is redwater.show@gmail.com, and our website is redwatershow.podomatic.com, and all the episodes are posted on youtube.com/xexyzl. You can go there now and unsubscribe because you don't like these podcasts. Yeah. All right. What?
That's such a great reason to unsubscribe. You know?
It's like, they're putting these podcasts in my subscription box every week. That's really annoying. I'm going to unsubscribe. Actually,
that is a pretty good idea.
That is actually a great idea.
Never mind.
Never mind. Don't do that.
Don't do the good idea of unsubscribing.
Then again, nobody ever listens this far. I doubt anybody listens this far into the podcast anyways, you know? So it doesn't matter what we say here. Maybe.
You know what we could do? Since nobody listens this far anyway, like, maybe they'll just they've been conditioned to know, okay, maybe at the very beginning it's just going to be nothing but actual Redwater show. So maybe we should, for the next episode, actually post an update for the Vidya that we've been working on.
Well, that's what we do anyways. I keep saying, like, status update on the secret project.
I know.
Actually,
but for reals,
there's 2 secret projects now. They don't know that, do they? What?
Oh, they don't know that because they're not that far in here.
Yeah, exactly. So post a comment on here if you now know that there are 2 secret projects.
Oh.
Even if someone did get that far, they wouldn't bother to post a comment, so it doesn't matter. Anyways. Yeah, that's our show.
Don't worry, we'll have better
tune in
content later.
next week when we're not probably going to be live, but who knows? We might get Kirran back on, who knows? Yeah. All right. We'll
if you
see
have
you
any
again.
suggestions on how to make the show better, email us.
Yeah,
at redwater.show.
email us and tell us to uninstall Audacity. I don't know. There you go. All right.
We tried plugging it in and unplugging it and replugging it.
Yes.
That'll make the
All
show
right.
better.
That's it. We're done with that. That's it. We'll see it.
Lame.